Go on. Tell me your day's been good, bad, why? Go, go, go.
We beat our time from before.
What up, mother hackers? It's Friday! Woo!
I have too many games to play and I'm constantly getting asked which one am I playing today and tomorrow and which one I want to speedrun in the future. And I'm gonna answer those questions. But you need to know that this video is speedrun orientated. There's still plenty of games that aren't on speedrun.com that I want to request. For example, there are 5 existing 18-wheeler games, but only 2 are on speedrun.com. None of the Silent Storm game series are there, none of the Panzerfront game series are there, Submarine Titans is missing, Grind Legends from 2019 is missing, and Seaman Mixer Simulator 2003 is also missing. So this video is divided into 3 parts. First, I'll give my opinion on PvE, PvP, then I'll give you a trick on how to play again your old games, and how to obtain new games that are free. Usually when people ask me about games, they think of PvP, right? League of Legends, Apex, Fortnite. But I stay away from them, and that's one of my suggestions. I still play Roblox Arsenal, for example, but I speedrun most of the games I play. Don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of challenges in single-player mode games. For example, I have 100% completed all WRC8 tracks on all 4 types of cars, and that took me 6 weeks of 3 hours per day gameplay every day. I also completed all of the levels in Catapult Quest, and that took me 6 months. But with that, I really suggest also playing relaxing games. I play SnowRunner, Phasmophobia.
Is this room haunted, maybe? What the heck? I think it's just a bookshelf.
Labyrinthine, and Satisfactory. Then I'm going back to Grinding World Records. For example, I've been playing these Hot Wheels games on Flash, and I actually made a friend who recommended me another Hot Wheel game. But when I speedrun, I actually forced myself to do all possible categories. There are also some games I still haven't completed, for example Rainbow Six 2. I have more than 1,000 of runs in this game of an average of 5 minutes. But here is my conclusion to this. Establish the balance of fun, competition and completion in your playtime, which are my top priority golden rules. So let's see how now to find new games and how to renew the fun in the old one that you have played before.
Oops, I messed up.
Talking about playing again your old games to renew the fun in them, I have been personally playing Paper Mario 2000 Year Door on GameCube, which is a fan favorite. I have forced myself to do a challenge, is to complete at 100% everything by reading every text and without upgrading my health points. What am I saying is that you should go back to your old games for variety. For example, go back to your Call of Duty games or your Midnight Club games, but play it on the hardest difficulty and complete everything. For example, Lati is one of those players who do challenges but also speedruns. And I really love watching him playing Doom with only the pistol start. And he unlocks every secret areas as well. Another example is, did you know there's still Warcraft 2 community on YouTube? That there is a Warcraft 3 community on YouTube with thousands of views on recent videos? And did you know that there's a Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit 1 community that made multiplayer mode from scratch and have their own servers running? They also have new maps added and new cars as mods. My favorite game, Nox, also is on this list. There are still some PvP guys, there are some speedrunners, and there are a few videos that are still being made. In conclusion, if you want to relax and be competitive at the same time, or watch long plays, you can still do everything, just have a balance of relaxing and competition. For example, my first long play I watched was the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. So now the most exciting part, how do I know so many games? Well, first I'm just old guy, then I was just lucky to play on the Famicom and the Genesis consoles, and a bit on the arcade machines, but for a short period of time. Then I jumped on computer, and I played all the best 90s games and the start of the 2000s. Then I met friends who showed me the recent technology of the recent consoles, and finally we are in 2023. So I'll be showing the most popular methods of getting new games at first and end up revealing some of my cool tricks. First, you can find a list of games on different launchers and game websites. If you go to Steam, you can see that I've saved a link to a game I wanted to play that isn't on speedrun.com. You'd go here and here to see the newly released games with a bunch of free ones, but of course this is something I don't do because most of the games are bad and simplistic, although few hold potential of being speedrunnable. After hours...
What's going on? Just leave again. The doors are locked and I can't see anything. There must be a generator in the basement or something that can get the lights going again. Oh, a flashlight. What a coincidence.
And OMFG are two games that I recommend playing and speedrunning for free on Steam. Epic Games. So they give one free game every week, and sometimes in July they give an expensive one, and the last 2 weeks of December they also give one every day. So I played Quake 1, Doom 64 for them, and I had a lot of fun playing them and speedrunning them. Then you have GOG. It's a launcher where you have sometimes free games and sometimes free content from games you already own. Two good games that I have are Postal 2 and Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, for example. Next is itch.io. Seaman Mixer Simulator 2003 is one of those weird games on that launcher, but there is a free wave of games you can still grab. My most favorite genre is indie horror. There is also a bunch of platformers, RPGs, first-person shooters, and again horror. I personally loved playing Baragut, Watermelon's Adventure, Slenderina, The Basement, Cannon, Doghouse 1 and 2, Mary's Marbles, Jimmy's Halloween, and Slide in the Woods. I want also to name several games that I'm planning to play. Horror Noodles, Amanda the Adventure, Escape PlayStation 1 Hybrid, Garage Apocalypse, and Budget Horror Game, which says it all. Amazon Gaming. It costs just $5, and sometimes there's great games such as WRC 8 and 9. I also got the indie game called Bang Bang Racing. It's fun but super repetitive. It's fine. Then we have Microsoft Store Launcher. There are at least two games that I played called Catapult Quest and Jack and Jill, but the games there are very repetitive, not really fun, but speedrunnable. Now, YouTube. So, YouTube is just for information. It's not a platform where we play from, but you can get recommendations of games or promotions of games. There are several of content creators that reviewed indie games that they either made or made for them to be reviewed. I retained Jonas Trioler, Steven, Danny, Giuseppe, and most of their games that they reviewed are on speedrun.com, but there's also small devs that I simply know. So I played, for example, The Heart Tower, Roll of Fortune, Ron and Bolt, and Within the Caves. which to be honest are all made by my friends. Next, we talk about websites. For example, you don't need to know about websites that do lists. You can simply type fandom and Bobby Games, but be careful, information is often wrong there. And also there's a website that lets you play right away on them, such as ABC, Yeah, Pokey, Armor Games, Scratch, and Crazy Games, just to name a few. And we cannot avoid talking about emulations. For example, did you know that there's a bunch of websites that host games because they emulate them right away to play on them for you? For example, there is Retro Games, Online Classic Games, Classic Reload, and Play Classic. Also, if you're a retro gamer and haven't had the joy to play some games on console you owned before, simply because you lost your games in consoles like I did, get on Vim. You get to download a bunch of emulators there from different consoles, and I personally have played every year. I completed Fire Emblem, Red and Down on Wii. I played it on Dolphin emulator, but of course I have that game. That's why I know about it, and I really like it. It's actually my favorite game. And of course, if you want to speedrun some games that are on emulators, you have to ask the permission to the moderators on which ones are allowed, because some emulators don't emulate properly. Hey, but talking about emulation, what about Flash games? Flash have stopped supporting the websites with games on them, but we have now a tool called Flashpoint 11 Infinity, and that does the trick. So it's a tool where you have a complete list of games that use Flash and emulates websites. You're gonna be surprised, but they're actually fun to play. And if you know Easy Speezy, which is a well-known YouTuber and speedrunner, he have been playing Flash games pretty a lot. And just to name a few, there is Vex, Fancy Pants, and Garfield game series on Flash. Let's not forget mobile gaming and speedrunning community. The games I've been playing recently on my iPad are Perfect Golf, Bowmaster, Mountain Climb 4x4, and I'm planning to play a Rally Point series, Mod Rally, and 1945 Air Force. And of course you cannot ignore your friends' recommendations. For example, on Discord, on Twitch, on YouTube. So I watch, for example, the racing game enthusiast, James Avery, or Kuru. So in conclusion, don't forget the 3 golden rules, establish your balance of fun, competition and completion, and give yourselves challenges such as I did with Paper Mario, or just don't play and watch Tyler 1.